Destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
With Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Gave it away. You can't give games away when you are the prohibitive underdog, where majority of talking heads are saying you will be swept or maybe you will win a game. And you go on the road and you've got the number one seed on the ropes. In fact, you've got the game won. Inbounds the ball and you win the game. You are up by 3 with the ball with 10 seconds to go. Inbound the ball. Gave it away. We will look at all the different ways the Pacers are kicking themselves. I'm going to guess a whole lot of restless Indiana Pacers in their hotel beds in Massachusetts last night after they had it won, came from ahead and lost. Celtics win game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals in overtime, 133-128. Good morning, boys and girls, and Merry Wednesday. Welcome to the award-winning opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. How you living?
Oh, what it do?
You tell me what I'm wrong about. I mean, it was over, dude. Inbounds the ball. This was one of the I hearkened back to the Super Bowl with the Seahawks and the Patriots, where they did not give the ball to Marshawn Lynch in the Malcolm Butler interception. Like, how do you get over a loss like this? The game was won. Execute and you win. And I know I say this so many times, do you have to learn how to win? But that certainly felt like a situation where do you have to learn how to win? The mistakes down the stretch, the inbounds pass, the panic, not fouling on the inbounds play before the three-pointer to tie it. I mean, there's so many places to go in this thing where the Indiana Pacers should have walked out of there with a 1-0 lead and shocked the world last night.
When you get to a conference finals, I'm past telling people they need to learn how to win.
Okay. I mean,
I
can
won a
listen
game
to that.
7 on the road, and I get there were a lot of injuries that factored into it, but it was a up and down series before that.
And it was an ass beating. It wasn't a tight game where you had
for the Indiana Pacers. So to me, it was they just didn't execute. Like the moment, I can't sit there and say it was too big.
What was it?
I can't say that because at some point you're in the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't need to learn anymore. It's the whole, Minnesota's good. Deal with it. Like everyone's saying, they skip steps. Yeah. It's like they're just a good basketball team. And I think for the Pacers last night, the final moment is one that it's so much easier to say than do. Trying to in real time foul 3-point shooter who's going up as he caught the basketball.
I'm with you on that one.
Why Siakam hesitated?
Yeah.
Because Brown was in his upward motion as he caught it. So that is so much easier said than done. It was the inbounds play was one. Yeah, the Pacers made a mistake. They had a timeout, call a timeout. They threw the game away. Now, this is one that it's fascinating because you look at Boston, and this is either going to galvanize them because this is their first oblique moment. Mm-hmm. Because in the other series that they lost games, you didn't feel like they could get got.
Never.
They could get got because this Pacers team is that good offensively. And they're just going to have wild scoring games. And so Boston is either going to rally and now realize that they have to turn the corner. Like they can't find themselves in a game where they force 22 turnovers. They're playing at home. And if Indiana inbounds the basketball, they lose that game. And so this is a Celtics team that I know there's a ton of questions constantly with them because they've kind of just gone through the motions. Like they were that good enough to go through the motions in 2 rounds of basketball, which is not going to be the case here.
I agree with a lot of it. And I'm going to give you the inbounds play. Jaylen Brown caught the ball in the motion, and Pascal Siakam did everything to not foul him in the motion. And it would have been really where are you going to foul him? Are you going to slap at him as he's catching the ball? Is the only place, right? Is the only place. And I'm with you. And he defended him well. He was in his face. Dude hit a shot. And then I thought they executed so poorly. They called timeout. They advanced the ball. and they get a Halliburton falling out of bounds 27-footer. That's the best they could do with 5.5 seconds or 4 seconds, whatever the number was. Execution down the stretch. They turned the ball over 5 times in the last 30 seconds. Was the moment too big? I don't know. Yeah, they won game
5
7.
times in the last 30 seconds in overtime combined.
Okay. Was it too big? I don't know. I'd like to say no. And I agree with you. They went to Madison Square Garden and pounded a depleted Knicks team into submission. But they did. They won. They went there. They won. I give them all the credit in the world. And they came out, and for 47 minutes and 40 seconds, 50 seconds, they were the better team on the floor last night. They were. But then they give it away. I don't know how you respond from that. I agree with you on so many points. You're inbounding the ball, call timeout. If you don't have something, call timeout and draw something up. All you had to do was get the ball in bounds. Let me give you phone numbers today. 505-246-0610. I know you're going to want to get in on this. 505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animal phone line, the Sports Animal text line. Emails are jeff@sportsanimалabq.com, jj@sportsanimалabq.com, or on the Facebook, the OD and the AM, where you can watch the show every morning. Adrian produces on ProView Networks. We're on Comcast Channel 26. They gave the game away. And I think the Celtics know they got away with one. But we all sit here and think the Celtics are the better team. And over a course of 7, they're probably going to prove that. This was one where you got to kick yourself all night. We'll get started on the phones. Let's go. Robert, get us started early. Good morning, Robert. You're on the Sports Animal.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, so I'm like a big Celtics guy. I watch every dribble of all these games.
Yeah.
So the last time they lost to the Pacers, it was like controversial. It was close. Jaylen Brown got a block at the last couple of seconds to win the game. They called it a non-foul. The player hit his head. I mean,
Right.
These games are going to be close. Everyone thinks the Celtics are just going to run through Indiana. Indiana's a very, very good team. They're quick. The pace that they play at, it's hard to defend. It's hard to play against, But these Celtics, I mean, how amazing to come back through that. Jaylen Brown making that big, steal to even get the shot.
Yep.
Incredible. And then to hit that sucker, I thought, oh, my God. Horrible shot attempt, trash shot, but it dropped.
Hey, Robert,
Wow.
Robert, give me a percentage. Because for every comeback, there's a fold, or for every fold, there's a comeback. Percentage on this. How much of it was a comeback and how much was it a fold, giving it away by the Pacers?
Well, if you listen to them, I really think they were 50-50 on it. They didn't think that they lost yet. They even said that, Drew Holiday had said that in the comments, is we didn't think we lost yet. That's why they bring the ball in. That's why they do the thing that they do. And they got the ball, and it just rolled for them.
All right.
I mean, the Celtics, that's one of the things, like with Tatum, he's still a young player. But those last-second shots, that's what kind of hurts the Celtics here and there. But they got this one.
They
Incredible.
Did. They did. Great win. All right, Robert. No, I appreciate you. Don't be a
So
stranger.
go Celtics. Go
All right,
Celtics.
Let's talk during the series.
Thanks,
Good to hear you. I'm going to tell you, I think it was 70-30 at least, and maybe 80-20. Meltdown. Giveaway, as opposed to comeback. Now, I'll give Jaylen Brown credit on the inbounds defense, closing on Pascal Siakam, and then hitting the shot. They get credit, but 80-20 to me, that's
The Pacers threw it away at the end. And this Boston team, it is just so fascinating trying to figure out who they're going to be, because they've been here, done that in the conference finals. They've been in the NBA finals, and yet they're still in this situation where you don't quite trust them. So while the Pacers do this game away, can this be a turning point for the Celtics? Can this be something that ignites an edge in them? Because it's hard for me to feel bad about what they've done.
Celtics?
Because they win the most games in the NBA. 5-game series, round 1 and 2. That's what you're supposed to do.
They don't have to apologize to anybody.
Yeah, but everyone's like, well, I
Who
don't know.
they beaten, who they played. I know.
And they caught
played
a
who's in
break.
front of them.
And you have to take advantage of it in sport.
And they did, and they got their rest, and they won last night. By the way, we did give you 2 winners yesterday. We did say take the Pacers in the 9.5 or 10.5, and do bet the over. So we did give you 2 winners. If for whatever reason you want to take our advice, which isn't always a good idea. All right, a ton to do today. Let's go. Start getting on the phones at 505-246-0610 because we got to go through this. We're not done with this game yet. We got Minnesota, Dallas going tonight. We have the Cup run continue. 3-0. New Mexico United beats NYC FCII in New York last night. 3-0. They're in the final 8, the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup. And, oh, boy, the gift that keeps on giving. Aaron Rodgers is back in front of a microphone. And so we got all that. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. Merry Wednesday. Glad you're with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
I'm going out, Grandma.
When are you coming home?
I'll be home late. Don't wait up, okay?
Be careful, mijito.
Love you, Grandma.
Mijito. He's a good man. Sometimes he just makes bad decisions. I tell him, mijito, cuidado. Be careful. You might hurt someone. He doesn't listen.
I tell you to stop, okay?
Hello. It's me.
Hi, mijo. Where are you?
Dale was drinking and driving. I need you to come and get me, okay? Please, Grandma? Can you just come and get me? Grandma?
Leave him in jail.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
The Sports Animal.
Go. What do you think of that one last night? Was it the Celtics comeback or was it a giveaway by the Pacers? And to me, it's 80-20. It was a giveaway, I think. What do you think? 505-246-0610. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. You get the West starts tonight, Minnesota and Dallas. That will be in Minneapolis. And do I get hockey tonight? Like, when do I get hockey starting back up? I mean, that's got to be pretty soon, right? That is tonight, Eastern Conference, Florida and the Red. That'll be good, too. The two best teams there, don't you think?
Don't think, I know.
Yeah, I mean, in the East? Yeah. It feels like that'll be really good. Did you watch Game 7, Canucks and Oilers the other night?
Edmonton gets up 3-0, 2 goals in the third by Vancouver.
And it got tight. And Game 7 special, period, right? Oh, the two best words in sport. I get it. Game 7 in Canada and hockey just felt a little different, didn't it? I was saying this the other day. No, it just does.
Yeah, the environment's fantastic.
They give a damn. The Game 6, I was telling Gato Roberto this.
Well, and especially when a team like Edmonton and your best player and one of the best players in the league, Connor McDavid, is Canadian.
Yep. No, it's their game. So that's kind of where I was going with this. Game 6 was Saturday night, I think, whenever it was. And I thought this was so cool. And I when you were gone the other day, I was talking to Bob about this. Did you see the national anthem? And I know that sounds so stupid. Who cares about the national anthem? So they go, it's in Edmonton, and they go, now Deep Voice Guy is going to sing "Oh Canada," and the place goes nuts. And he's not on the ice. They didn't roll out a carpet. He's in the stands, and he's in his Edmonton Oilers sweater in amongst the fans. And he just starts out with that deep voice, "Oh Canada," right? And he sang the first verse, and then he held the mic out, and the whole building sang the rest of the song. And there was something about that just hit. And it was Canada hockey pride. We love our country. We love our game. Like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, whoa, you don't really get that here. Not you can tell me that's good, that's bad, whatever. It was just one of those moments where, damn, like that was pretty cool, Canada. Did you catch any of that at all?
It sounds like a fantastic moment.
It was insane, man. It was.
So you're saying Americans don't sing the national anthem well?
So
hot take of the day.
I told him the story of New Mexico Bowl in 2010.
Oh, the mic didn't work.
The mic didn't work, and the BYU band started singing the national anthem, and it spread around the whole stadium, and it was actually a really cool moment. When R.J. Berry turned to me and said, "Where I work, someone gets fired for this." Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm on it. Yeah. It does. By the way, the Cup playoffs are averaging 1.16 million viewers across in the United States. So it's a jump. It's not a huge number, and hockey's still not killing it. But it's a 12% jump, if that means anything from last year. All right, how do you feel about what you saw in the NBA last night? The Pacers had it. The Celtics had a 2.7 chance to win the game, and Boston dialed up the defense. They finished with 11 steals, so there were 21 turnovers by the Pacers. If you're Rick Carlisle and you're the Pacers, you're getting together today, you're looking at film. message has got to be, all right, so if there's any doubt in your mind or anybody else's that we can beat this team, that's erased. We have this team beat. Now we have to finish. Here's what we got to clean up. Take care of the ball. Continue to defend. Offensively, we were terrific. Let's work on a new side inbounds play that instead of 2 guys against 3 defenders, let's work on something. Like, you're right there. You're trying to take the positive, right? When you sit together.
I don't have any worries about the Pacers.
Yeah.
Like, I think you get to this point in the season, like, you can learn lessons, but you don't need lessons. Like, I'm not worried about Indiana's response.
Okay.
I think they threw it away at the end. I don't think it was because the moment was too big.
It's not like Halliburton just dribbling the ball off his foot.
It's incredibly frustrating to have that happen, but I don't think it's something that's going to break the Pacers. Like, I actually trust them to be fine and respond.
Okay.
And I like their chances in game 2.
Yeah. I thought this would be a series. I thought it would be a 6-game series. And nothing tells me that it won't be. They lost a tough game 1, which they had won. I just don't think they're good enough to give away a game and still win the series. I think Boston wins the series. This is just one of those where Boston's a better team, and when you've got them, and do you agree with me? Boston should be a better team. I'm not telling you that I think Indiana's not good. I'm not telling you I don't think it's going to be competitive. I think Boston's better.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think with the Pacers, it's a lot of unknown with the team because they don't have a star player. Like, Tyrese Halliburton is fantastic. Pascal Siakam can guard 1 through 5 and is a X factor who's won a championship. Miles Turner has emerged as a really good front court player. I think it's just the unknown why people think the Celtics would run past the Indiana Pacers, but that's a team that is all in on their identity, and that's why I'm with you. I think this is going to be a long series. Now, yeah, this could be the game that they look back on, and they're going to be saying, what if the entire series? And it could go either way for Boston. Does this wake them up and give them that edge that people say that they're missing because they stole one at home? And this is a team that, if they would have lost that game last night, and I think it's the last 3 years, they would have been 15-15 at home in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think it would have woken everybody up too. I still think, to your point, that there's still people sleeping on the Pacers, and I think even people who watch the NBA, because they're playing Boston. I don't think anybody's sleeping on Minnesota. Like, you may have 2 teams in the West that you didn't expect to be there. You got the 3 and the 5 seed in the West, or 3 and the 6. No, 3 and the 5. 3 and the 5. This is the 6 Indiana. But 2 teams you didn't expect to be there. But for crying out loud, man, nobody's sleeping on Minnesota. I think there's still a few that might be sleeping on Indiana. And because it's simply because they're playing Boston and nobody gave them a chance. I listened to so many predictions on I got that mess on in my office too often during the day. I just couldn't listen to Trump trial coverage anymore on the news. That's all they were covering. So I flipped over and it was Celtics in 4, Celtics in 5. I'll give them a game. Plaschke called Indiana. But everybody else, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be competitive as well. And I know you do too. All right, we'll get back into this because I think there's more there. 505-246-0610. Tonight you get the Mavs, who have the league's best defense in the last 20 games, the regular season. This is really interesting to me because this is the opposite of what we're seeing on the other side, right? On the East, you see the 2 teams who score the most points in the league. And in the West, and this is it's just the opposite of the way it always is. It's always out West. You've got Wild Wild West and teams scoring, and they play the grinded out East. No, that's not how it is. The Mavericks have held teams to 101 or fewer points in 6 of their 8 playoff games. Meanwhile, you got a Minnesota team who was statistically the best defensive team throughout the year, and they proved it against the Nuggets. I don't know. I'll find the over-unders for you, but are you starting like an unders in this game? Because this is a totally different look than what we saw last night.
It's one where it's easy to fall in the narrative. Like when we were talking yesterday, and I dropped these numbers on you and Kenny Thomas. And
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
Yeah.
The Mavs play defense?
Good.
Like, they absolutely have played defense.
Yeah.
And that's why they're in the Western Conference Finals. It's a team that you don't think plays any defense. but that's what's allowed them to get to this point, how they finished the season, what they've done against good offenses in the Clippers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And, they're still scoring well. Like Minnesota is the highest scoring team throughout the playoffs in the Western Conference, 108 points per game. The Mavericks are at 106 points per game. But it's going to come down to, making the plays in the fourth quarter. And can you match the energy that we've seen from the Timberwolves? Because I think this Mavericks team, I'm not surprised by this Western Conference Finals, as a lot of people are, because I picked the Mavericks over the Clippers. I think they were set to go on a run, because when you look at the way Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving have come together this season, it's been fantastic. We've seen a different Kyrie Irving. This dude has won games on the biggest stage. Luka Doncic, when he is clicking, is the best playmaker in the NBA. And yes, that's a league that has Nikola Jokic in it. And then the pieces that they acquired on the perimeter, this, I think, should be a fantastic series. Like I thought, much like I thought Minnesota Denver was going to be, but I don't think we're going to see any team in this series get beat by 45 points.
Yeah, it's a ton. Yes. Yeah, I think this is going to be terrific. You like the under tonight? 4.5 points, Minnesota's favorite. I'm not comfortable with that either way, to be honest with you. And the under's like 207.
Take the Mavs in the under.
Okay. You like the Mavs with the points and the under. All right. All right. Lots to do on the NFL when we get back. 505-246-0610. We'll get more into the hoops. Aaron Rodgers, man, you put him in front of a mic and it's just it's fuel. And he's back, and boy, did he have a decision to make. And he made his decision. And is he the savior? The Jets are on prime time half of their games before their bye. Half of their games are on primetime standalone TV. Are they that damn good? And what he had to say about his big decision. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Do you know your number? No.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Cross-Camara here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Yes, it sounds about right.
And look, you don't have to believe it. Just because Bill Parcells said it doesn't mean it's true. But I know it's become somewhat of a talking point. If you're thinking about retiring, are you already retired? I don't know that I believe that, to be honest with you. But let's play with that premise for a minute. How many times he thought about retiring? Right? And this offseason, evidently he had the opportunity to be Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s running mate, a third-party presidential candidate running for president. He said he had an offer, and this is where it gets interesting. We knew that he was one of the people that were up for running mate for RFK Jr. I think that became very clear, and you let that run through your mind and think whatever you want to think about that for a second, and that's fine. And Rogers said, quote, "I love Bobby. We had a couple of really nice conversations, but there were really two options: retire and be his VP, or keep playing, and I want to keep playing." End quote. Kennedy's running for president against Trump and Biden, and I mean, you know, the opportunity to be a vice president isn't a side job. You can't just play football in the fall and come off an Achilles and play football Monday night and then go out and campaign yeah. I don't even know what to make of it sometimes, right? Whether it's a darkness chamber or ayahuasca or whatever. And I love kooky. So I'm not the guy who hates Aaron Rodgers. I'm often entertained, and I think he's somewhat fascinating. Colin Cowherd's got a great take. He says you get to be, a 40-year-old guy who's never been married, has no kids, and has the insane amount of money, and you get a little, got a lot of time to go be different. I know I'm paraphrasing what Colin says on it. And there's something to that. You get kookier and kookier as you go on. This will be it, right? We're not this whole thing doesn't carry into the season. This is just kind of a off-season OTA talking point, and it's entertaining. And Aaron Rodgers, and let your mind go wherever you want to go of what you think Aaron Rodgers would have been as vice president or candidate.
This is one where it goes on as long as he wants to do podcasts.
Fair
and
enough.
Off the field stuff. And all the things that he says everyone else on the Jets needs to stop doing, he's doing.
Okay. I that means it'll go on for a while, because I think he enjoys the podcast. He enjoys being out there. He considers himself the smartest guy in the room, right? And there'll be Aaron Rodgers. So let's play under the assumption, and I don't think this is true, but let's go under the assumption this is his last year. This is the last year with on this contract, right? It was a 2-year deal with the Jets. Let's play the assumption that he retires after this year. Do I see Rodgers on a studio show? Do I see him? He's not going to be one of those guys that sits at ESPN for 4 days a week and jumps show to show to show. He's going to be a network front guy, whether it's going to be on the Sunday pregame show, right? Or
no.
You don't think so?
Not at all.
Where do you see him?
On the internet?
Straight on the internet, not doing any of that stuff? Really?
Like hanging out with McAfee,
but McAfee,
doing things like that, but he's not going to be the buttoned up CBS Sports studio host.
Huh. See, I kind of think he's going to be one. You don't,
because that's structure, and they'll be like, "Hey, we can't really get into the things you want to talk about. You can't be throwing out these conspiracy theories on an NFL broadcast." And they'll be like, "That's what you get."
Yeah, but when Netflix starts getting 5 games, he's not going to be one of their guys, or Amazon Prime has every Thursday night. Feels to me like he fits there.
Yeah, that's the streaming then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Quote Rodgers, I don't want to go out as a bum, so that's why I put the work in and believe in my abilities. I mean, you guys saw today, there's no pads on, but I obviously can still throw it with the best of them. I can still move around. I look forward to getting back to where I was last year. When I play well, I think all the individual possibilities for recognition would be great, but if I play the way I'm capable of playing, we'll be playing for a lot more than that. I like that. I got no problem with that. I'm confident what I can do. They're going to go to him all the time. They're favored in 14 of their 17 games right now. And I looked at their schedule, and look, their division is interesting. They get the Bills twice, and after that, I'm not sure what the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are better than them. But he's just fascinating to me, dude. And people love listening to as much as you say you're tired of him and you're sick of him. People just flock to what he has to say. What do you expect? 40-year-old dude coming off an Achilles with a team that was 7-10, but lost 3 games when their opponents were held under 20 points. So that means if they had any offense, they could have been 10-7, relatively. I don't want to say easily, but logically. Playoffs? Were they won the playoffs? When we went through the AFC, and you said your playoff teams, because they were not one of mine.
I think they could be in contention for the last wild card spot.
I believe they will be in contention.
But you got even at you look at the end in Green Bay, Rodgers was not putting up great numbers.
No.
Like, it wasn't throwing 330 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Do you recall his last
so this
game?
is going to be, I think, a more scaled back offense, which is fine for him right now, coming off an Achilles injury. Have an explosive playmaker in Breece Hall. You have a good number 1 in Garrett Wilson, and keep your fingers crossed that Mike Williams can stay healthy as your number 2 wide receiver. But I don't look at the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, the team that goes from 7 wins to 12.
Look at their schedule. I think you can beat in the opener, but I see a run of wins, man. Tennessee, New England, Denver, Minnesota. They play Buffalo really well. Pittsburgh, New England. They get Houston, Arizona, Indianapolis, Seattle, Miami, Jacksonville. And the Rams, Buffalo, Miami. They close with a tough stretch. But they will compete for a playoff. I think Aaron Rodgers will be a good quarterback this year. Pro Bowl level quarterback, not all pro, but Pro Bowl level quarterback. But I think Buffalo and Miami are better than them. Baltimore and Cincinnati are better than them. Houston is better than them. The Chiefs are better than them. And so that leaves, there's a playoff spot, right? That leaves them competing with Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Chargers, Raiders, Jaguars, Colts for that last playoff spot, in my mind. And I don't think they can.
Yeah, they're going to have to be good early. Take advantage of that schedule. Then that gives them a really good opportunity late in the season to make a run.
What about his offensive coordinator? When we come back, your former coach, evidently they want to replace him. But they trust me. In me, they trust. Or is that just the VP making bad decisions? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Avenue.
This.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
5.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
Ron wants to know if Thomas Patrick Brady can get the lead color guy and still put out feelers. Well, you know, if you need a quarterback down the stretch, give me a call. Then why can't Aaron play on Sunday and show up at a campaign rally on Monday? Really, Ron? Like, you don't see the difference between, all right, I'm calling a game on Sunday, I don't have to be at work again until next Friday or Saturday, as opposed to the quarterback who you want him to play on Sunday and show up in Iowa on Tuesday and Nebraska on Wednesday and then quarterback on, I mean, you know the difference, right? Right? Please tell me you do. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Come on in. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Your guy Nathaniel Hackett evidently was, I guess they weren't going to fire him, but the reports are they were looking to bring in someone else to be the offensive coordinator for the Jets. He is the former Packers offensive coordinator, became the head coach of the Broncos, lasted, 7 games, 8 games? How long did he last? Almost half a season-ish? I guess more than half a season. It was a disaster.
Yes. From day one.
Just a disaster. Everybody knows. Everybody said it was a disaster. And then when Aaron Rodgers got the job as quarterback of the Jets, he brought in his buddy Nate Hackett. Well, evidently, there were a lot of reports surfaced, and nobody's denying these reports, that the Jets were looking for someone else to run the offense. Hackett said that he believes that the team has confidence in him and confirmed that there were conversations with outside coaches. He didn't get into what was on the table, what the roles were. Quote, I don't know what those reports are. I don't know where the sources come from. I know what happened with us. It was great. We had a lot of conversations, got to talk to a lot of different people. It's that simple. It's already been addressed. We had a lot of changes, so we were talking to a lot of people. So the bottom line is they were looking for another offensive coordinator, right?
Sounds like it.
How was that great? Oh, it was great. You know what? They told me they wanted to bring someone in over me, but here we are. And you know what? We talked to a lot of people, got a lot of great ideas, and it was great. It was great. They wanted to take my job from me, but I held on to it. It was great because Aaron said, if I'm here, he's my guy.
That's the way it feels. In New York with the Broncos, when they hired Nathaniel Hackett, to me it was 100%. They thought they were getting Aaron Rodgers, so they wanted Aaron Rodgers to have his guy, the quarterback of the Broncos, with Nathaniel Hackett as head coach, and then you saw how much of a disaster it was. Nathaniel Hackett was in over his head at that moment as a head coach, and wow, what happens? Pairs up once again with the Jets, and this. If there's any quarterback, though, that can have this much riding on him, it feels like this is the dude to do it in regards to all the noise and understanding the situation. And the fact that if you're the Jets and this doesn't work out, you're moving on from a 40-year-old quarterback as opposed to, a young guy that you invested so much in, but that has a bajillion-dollar contract. So, but
when you move on here, you knew there was a shelf. You knew this wasn't your guy you're buying into for the future. You knew this was a 2-year deal.
Spark the moment right now And it's not just Rodgers. This is everyone. Like, this team falls short of the playoffs.
Everybody's gone. Robert Saleh's gone. Nathaniel Hackett's. I mean, he's coaching high school football somewhere, probably, right? I don't know how he gets another job. Saleh will end up getting a solid defensive coordinator job somewhere. He was honestly, dude, he was a great defensive. I said offensive. He was a great defensive coordinator with the Niners. He was great. That's what got him the job. Don't you think?
Who hasn't been great there the last few years?
With the Niners? Yeah. No, DeMeco Ryans turned that into what his deal is in Houston. 100%. DeMeco Ryans he wasn't coach of the year last year, was he? But he sure as hell could have been. No, I think everybody, man, it's all riding on this year. And what does Rodgers care? I mean, he's going to fade off in the sunset, and he's got another $110 million to go with. I think he'd like to win. I think he's right. When he says, I don't want to go out as a bum, I think there's a ton of pride there. I think there's a lot. And I can't get last year's Hard Knocks out of my mind. Did you watch it last year at all when it was the Jets? There was so much Rodgers love. And they bought into the point. You know how Hard Knocks is, right? We fall in love. That's how Dan Campbell became Dan Campbell. The Lions coach the year before, and you watched it. He went from that knee-biting, weird guy that couldn't do anything to, wow, dude can coach. Guys like him. Maybe they're pretty good. Hey, I like that guy. I'm going to draft that guy in the last pick with my fantasy football. I mean, you all did it. And Dan Campbell got to the front of your consciousness and, of course, proved himself as a hell of a coach, and that organization has turned things around. The Jets, I think we bought into because watching these dudes, these 20-year-old, 22-year-old guys love on Aaron Rodgers and the whole thing, and Rodgers was eating it up. He played well for the camera. Rodgers, I'll give Rodgers this, man. He's not dumb. Rodgers is a bright dude. He knows how to play the game, the image game, and he knows what he's doing. He's calculated. And by the way, he's a really damn talented quarterback, and I think so even still at 40, assuming he can come back and move. So we all bought it. I can't get that out of my mind. And so there's that piece of me that says, well, if he comes back and is a semblance of that dude, they should be good. But if not, man, they blow that whole thing up because it's all riding on this year.
Yeah, but I think that at this point, Aaron Rodgers, the reputation and expectations don't match reality. Should be good is winning 9 games. 10 games at this point.
I think they're thinking 11.
They're thinking that. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is that guy. He wasn't that guy before his Achilles popped.
You don't think that he was...
Not at the end in Green Bay.
He wasn't. I agree with that.
Everyone's like, oh, it's just a short time ago. It was an MVP. Things change, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. But you don't think with what they had last year that their expectations were 11, 12 games last year?
That's their expectations. I don't think they hit that with Rodgers. It's one thing. All right, I expect to win a championship every single year with my franchise. I don't think they're doing that.
What do you think Vegas says?
They're favored in 14 of their games.
Yeah.
They're thinking they're going to be a double-digit win team, I bet.
Who do you think? Okay. This can't be right. I'm looking like at the Packers at 9.8. 9.8 is not a Vegas number. I'll find it here. BetMGM will have it. All right. So what do you think? What do you think the win total is for them in Vegas?
Jets
for the Jets
9.5.
It is 9.5. Yeah, it's right at your number. Okay. Vegas knows all. Because I think they think they're a 12-win team. But, you know, when you look at it, do you know what the biggest win total number is on the board? It's a 17-game schedule. What do you think the biggest win total is? The highest number on the board is?
11.5?
It's 11.5. It's the Ravens and the Chiefs at 11.5. And the Niners. 11.5. That's how tight this league is. You know what the lowest is? You probably would guess who it is. Do you know what it is?
Say Panthers.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
Your Tom say 4.5?
That's 4.5. Damn, you're good. Yeah. Yeah, that's a BetMGM, which our friends down at These Lettuce Sportsbook are partnered with MGM. But yeah, that's what. So the win totals are range from 4.5 to 11.5. That's not a huge margin.
And I think that's the Jets are going to be in contention. They're going to be playing for a wild card spot. I think they're going to be sneaky in that division. I don't think it's a team that you look at just because Aaron Rodgers is there as 12, 13 wins, because you're not going to see that in the AFC.
By the way, Cowboys win total. What do you think it is? I mean, you're hitting everything right on the number.
Are they? I want to see their. Is it a half or is it?
They're all halves.
They're all halves. Gosh, I kind of lean 8.5.
10.5. Broncos?
5.5.
5.5. Damn, you're good. All right, when we come back, the Cup runneth continue. New Mexico United on the road in New York City. Got a little pushy, got a little shovey, rough first half. They're moving on up. How United wins in New York and what's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach, my teacher,
my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part,
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
The cuppeth runneth continueth? Or is the cuppeth run continueth? Or does there no F on continue? The cuppeth runneth continueth. All I know is United won again. They continue to win. They've won 8 of their last 9 competitions, and this is probably the best version of New Mexico United we've seen since their inception, and it's a pretty good club. They win last night in the round of 16 in the U.S. Open Cup, went to New York, beat NYCFCII. That's NYCFC2 at St. John's University. 3-0 was the number, and they are on to the quarterfinals. This will match their deepest Open Cup run in club history. Remember, they advanced to the quarterfinals in 2019 before they were eliminated by Minnesota United, the MLS team. They're back at USL Championship play Saturday at Isotopes Park. They'll play San Antonio. JJ, so the club they played was in MLS 2, so that's a lower division than they are, correct?
Yeah, it's essentially like NYCFC's development club,
right? Which is lower than the USL.
Yes,
and but this team had beaten team they beat yesterday. Had beaten 2 USL teams.
They had,
yeah,
and that's kind of you're seeing that the line. USL Championship is a mix of veteran players. It's like AAA baseball, man. It's a mix of veteran players that can't quite make it onto an MLS roster, but then there's also some young guys who are still trying to climb that step, and you look at an NYCFC team that is going to be more younger overall because it's part of their development academy, and this is a game for United. Like, yeah, they've knocked off a couple championship teams, but man, this was set up for them.
The way it is right now?
It was go in there, the form that United's on, beat this young team, and then celebrate the chance to play in quarterfinals again.
Yeah. So here's who won yesterday. Sporting KC beat FC Tulsa. Sporting KC is MLS. Sacramento Republic beat San Jose. That was 4-3. Atlanta beat Charleston Battery. So that's a MLS team beating a USL team. It was 0-0, 5-4 in penalty kicks. And New Mexico United beat NYCFC. I'm looking at the scores. Like, everybody's got their shield or their logo. NYCFC is just like they don't even have their shield on there. So today, you've got a few more USL teams trying to advance, and there's a chance that New Mexico United would be the only USL team left. LAFC is playing Loudoun United. Actually, that was done. LAFC beat them 3-0. So that was the MLS team beating a USL team. Today, you get 3 matches. Tampa Bay Rowdies, that's a USL team, plays FC Dallas, MLS. Indy 11 plays Detroit FC. That's USL versus MLS. And the Seattle Sounders.
That's 2 USL teams.
That's 2 USL teams?
Yeah.
Detroit is?
USL Championship.
Oh, I thought Detroit was up. Okay. All right. So my mistake. And then Seattle MLS will play Phoenix Rising. And from what I understand, they want to kind of they're going to reseed this East and West. And so Atlanta will go East. I got to believe, well, we'll see. Sacramento will be West. New Mexico, I mean, there's no guarantee you're going to be West. Depending on what happens. I got to believe Indy, Detroit winner will be East. LA will be West. Seattle or Phoenix is going to be West. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it'll be interesting. They could go anywhere. They really could, or they could get a home match. But that's who's left in the U.S. Open Cup. Good win. It was 0-0 at halftime. They got 3 second-half goals. 2 guys scored their first ever goals with the team. Taylor Maples scored his second with the team. All 3 goals in the second half. And it got a little chippy, got a little grumpy. But look, bottom line is, United as a club takes this cup run very seriously. Maybe more seriously than others, but they should. And your point is they had a really nice draw, and people are going to say, Jeff, they got the team at the top of the table in Real Salt Lake from MLS. They did, and they beat them. They beat them handily 4-2. It was convincing. They were a better team. And Real Salt Lake sat 6 starters that day.
If the MLS wants to play this game and it's pull out of the U.S. Open Cup, focus on other things, all you can do is go play the best soccer you can. And if you beat one of those teams, guess what? You can put that in the headline.
That's
because
right.
You're not posting, well, we beat them without 6 of their starters. That's their decision. MLS wants to play this game that they don't want to invest in U.S. soccer, but at the same time try to say that they're trying to grow the game in the United States. They're not, man. It's a business.
Help me understand where MLS is, because I'm not going to pretend I'm a soccer aficionado on this. I've been reading up on it. So MLS, first of all, not as many MLS teams, Major League Soccer, entered the Cup this year, correct?
Yeah, they don't want to because they want to participate in the League's Cup.
Which is focused on what is that?
Honestly, it's who knows what the heck the league. I don't know, Jeff. Like they want to play in competitions where it's more MLS teams, different stages. It's against teams in Mexico, CONCACAF things. Like they want to play on these stages, and they look down at the U.S. Open Cup saying, "Well, we've scheduled too many games, so this is one of the competitions we want to pull out of." Yeah. Which is why there's only 8 MLS teams in it to begin with, and it's something that, which is fine, but the MLS is trying to say that they want to be one of the best leagues in the world, so they're focusing on playing Liga MX teams and things.
So is that better than that other cup, the League's Cup? Is that, I guess they perceive that to be better than the U.S. Open Cup?
And really, it's comes down to it's just about money for them, which is fine. It's a business.
I get it.
Like buying into the MLS, having an MLS team.
Oh.
That's what their focus is, as opposed to playing in the Open Cup or being part of a competition that it works. It should be fun. Everywhere else they do this and it's fine from the FA Cup on down, but in the United States, can't have it.
Let me ask you this. Is that perceived to be something good, better for soccer? Because I'm going to tell you, as a guy who's not a soccer guy, right? And I watch it. You know where I am. I watch the games. I watch the World Cup. I watch the United games. Everybody's got their thing, and right? I don't hate it. It's just I don't seek it out. But as a novice, as they're trying to attract more fans, I care less when I hear, well, the top league in this country is half in, half out on this U.S. Open Cup that you're trying to convince me is so big. I care less about it. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Now, the fact that the local team, that United's making a run this, all right, I'm in, and I think that's really, really cool. But when you got to explain it to me, something re-explained, and not you, but when it's got to be re-explained in a different way than it was explained to me a couple of years ago, and they're in, but they're out, but they want to grow up, but they don't, and okay, I'm done.
Well, it's just MLS doesn't want their teams playing it. It's not that hard. They want to pull out of the U.S. Open Cup.
Why don't they? But yet there's teams all over it, and they're probably going to win one, right?
So the League's Cup it's Major League Soccer, the top Canadian Pro League, and Liga MX.
Okay.
Teams that play.
Are USL teams allowed to get into that cup?
No.
They're not you're not good enough for us.
No. So the MLS is saying, hey, we feel this is better playing the top teams from Mexico, dribbling in a couple of the Canadian Premier League teams in it, as opposed to the U.S. Open.
And the U.S. Open Cup is open to everybody, and that's what I was told was so great about this. You could be Joey's Pub or Pedro's Bar or whatever, and have a soccer team and get into it, and theoretically you can win. And the winner does go on to play in international competition, right? The team that wins the U.S. Open Cup advances, and I believe they get into some CONCACAF stuff and all that. So they are playing for something, but it sounds like where this is going is in a year or two, there will be no MLS teams. U.S. Open Cup will be
it will be readjusted, and it will be a cup for everyone below the MLS. It will lose some of its buzz. It will lose some of its pizzazz, and you'll kind of have to reset your expectations on it.
Will it still get and I know you don't know this, but I'm asking you to kind of project, will it still get the entry into CONCACAF or whatever, wherever its winner goes, whatever you're playing for, will it still carry that clout?
I think it brings it into question.
Probably should, right? I mean, if the competition was brought down, I don't know. I don't want to. Please don't think I'm poo-pooing that. I think this is really cool. I'm just trying to understand the whole why MLS isn't in it, and I know I'm not alone because I've talked to a number of people and going, all right, so wait, what is?
Because they don't make money from it. They don't see a value in this.
They being the MLS,
and they'd rather their teams play competitions against Liga MX squads, heck, even international friendlies, as opposed to having to play USL Championship teams.
Right, fair enough. Meanwhile, New Mexico United is in the quarterfinals. They are in the Final Eight, and a great win for this club last night. Back at it at USL Championship on Saturday against San Antonio out at the ball pitch, but a great win last night, going back east and beating NYC FC 2 by a score of 3-0 and advancing. And they'll find out, I believe, tomorrow or today, because there's a couple games tonight, where they'll play and against whom in the round of 8 in the quarterfinals. And I think it's really cool. And if you want to get in on that, you're welcome to at 505-246-0610. When we come back, he's been bounced around, and he's a backup quarterback. Or at least for now, he's a backup quarterback. But he says he's just where he wants to be. One of the top picks of the draft just a couple of years ago. We're going to get into that next on the opening drive. International Protective Service has now taken security to a whole new level, like literally a whole new level. For 18 years, IPS has offered standing guards, 24-hour patrols to protect homes and businesses in Albuquerque. Recently, they launched in Santa Fe, but now IPS Global Aviation is using a fleet of drones with high-definition cameras and analytics software to exceed your security expectations. So with drones, IPS can monitor your next event or track emergency response. They'll follow criminal activity that you cannot see from the ground. The drones include thermal imaging, so IPS will be able to help with eyes in the skies during wildfire season. It's unmatched ability to watch from the air. On the ground, IPS continues to use highly trained, armed officers to watch the homes and businesses that mean so much to all of you. They install cameras. They monitor them around the clock. That deters criminal activity around your property. And even they offer personal bodyguards if there's a threat to your safety. If you got a security issue, IPS has you covered. 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420, online at ipsglobal.com. IPS is passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
This one makes me laugh. Ronnie sent a text at 505-246-0610. That's the Sports Animals phone line and our text line. This is Jeff and JJ. Mark Cuban has made the conference finals more times with the Mavericks than Jerry Jones has with the Cowboys, and Cuban bought the team in the early 2000s. Does this mean Dallas is a basketball town now? Yeah, Ronnie. You know what else it is? It's a hockey town. And it's a baseball town. JJ, let me give you this. Last time I saw the stat, it was forever since the last time I don't remember exactly when it was, and I should know. The last time the Cowboys were in a conference final was forever ago. Right? Last time the Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks, were in a conference final is now. It's been 29 years since the Cowboys beat Brett Favre in the 95 NFC Championship game. 29 years. Is that right? 95, 24, yeah. JJ, last time the Dallas Stars, the hockey team, was in the conference final is now. Last time the basketball team, the Dallas Mavericks, were in the NBA finals, or the conference finals, was now. The last time the Texas Rangers, their baseball team, was in their league finals, and how they won the World Series. So it was like 100 or 200 days ago. And then there's the Dallas Cowboys, it's a football town, the biggest brand in sports, the most valuable franchise in America, and it's been 29 years. I don't know. Is Dallas a basketball town? Is it a hockey town? It's a baseball. It's a hell of a sports town. They love them some Cowboys, but it's been 29 years. I saw this the other day, and Ronnie just sent me the note on it. It's startling. That their other three franchises are having such recent success, and it's been 29. I mean, that's got to be eating Jarrett up, doesn't it?
Eat any competitor up, especially Jerry Jones in that market.
Has anybody talked more about winning and done less than him? And God bless him, because he talks a lot, and it's his brand, and he's a master carnival barker and makes money off of it, and just a master promoter. Like he's terrific, and he's made more money than all of us listening combined. But it's gotta kill him in his own market, getting beat up like that.
Yes, it does. He's a competitor. He wants to win.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm not as big on it's Jerry Jones' fault as many other people, because he invests in his product. He wants his product to do well.
Let me tell you something. So, I agree with you. Now, I agree with you to a certain extent. I think that they could have won more in the last 29 years if he'd have had someone less emotionally invested as a football person. I'm going to at this point, at what point are you a football guy? Like, JJ, you and I didn't grow up to be in radio, but I've been doing this for all these years. You've been doing this for all you're in radio, right? At some point, Jerry's on this team for how many years? At some point, you're a football guy, right? You learn the business. He made his money however he made his money, but at this point, he's a football guy. But if he'd have had somebody, I believe, less emotionally involved making football decisions along the way, I think they could have won. They would have won something along the way. But to your point, he is an owner that gives you everything you need to win on your roster. Now, you may not like the way he constructs the roster as the general manager, and therein lies the issue. But in that everything you want in an owner, a guy who spends money, who's not afraid to invest in his stars, who gives them everything they want. They've got, the best of everything. Best travel, the best stadium, the best locker rooms. Treats his players well. I'm with you. I agree with you. I think he's a tremendous owner. I don't know that I think he's a tremendous general manager, but he's a tremendous owner.
Yeah, and I think that's the fair talking point. We'll go back, 10 or 15 years, because he's been less involved in that.
Isn't he still considered the GM? He's
yeah, but he hasn't been making wild draft picks.
I agree with that. Oh, they talked him off of that. Yeah.
They pick offensive linemen in the first round. They Michael Parsons, CeeDee Lamb. Like, that's not bad drafting at all in the first round. They've gotten lucky with quarterbacks they have, from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott.
And you want to talk about literally lucky. Tony Romo, I believe, was undrafted, right?
Yes, he was.
And Dak Prescott was in the third round?
He was a fourth-round pick.
Fourth round. Yeah, I mean, incredibly lucky. Your last 2 decades of quarterbacks have been guys that you didn't have to invest in the first round.
Can definitely feel like a missed opportunity, because we talk so much about finding a good quarterback that's cheap. Well, they had 2. Not able to capitalize.
And they've had really damn good rosters at times. And at times, I think they've had overrated rosters. Every year, I hear about the talent and how great they are, but there have been years where they've been really good. Like JJ last year, that was a good football team. How that defense fell apart is crazy, but it's hard for me to blame Jerry Jones. But Ronnie, it's a great point you said. Are they a basketball town? Shoot. They're a basketball town. They're a hockey town. They're a baseball town. Yeah, the defending World Series champs reside in the Metroplex. And you've got a hockey team that, hell, the Stars could be the best team in hockey right now. By the way, both of the Stanley Cup conference finals should be insane. Edmonton and Canada want this so bad, and they are good. I don't know that I think they're better than Dallas, but because Dallas is spectacular. But Dallas and Edmonton in the Western Conference Final and the Stanley Cup playoffs is going to be great. And the 2 best teams in the East, Florida and the Rangers, are going to go at each other. What's better for marquee matchup? Rangers out of the East. But is it better Rangers versus Dallas or Rangers versus Canada? It almost feels Rangers versus Canada. As far as I'd love to see Dallas, but damn, this is their game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's their game, and this is one where you look at Florida's just a fantastic team. The Rangers played that wild series against Carolina, going up and having to survive the overtime games that we saw there. I think Dallas is better than Edmonton. I don't think Edmonton has the goaltending to beat the Dallas Stars. The depth that Dallas has offensively, and Ottinger is fantastic in goal. And then the Rangers-Panthers series, that has 7 games written all over it.
Yeah, it does. Ryan sent me a text. So Ryan's listening in Texas. Ralph's listening in San Diego. I mean, we're covered on both sides. I got a surf report for you, too. It says Canadian playoff national anthems are the greatest, but also Stars and Six. Yeah, you're right. And then he said, congrats on our latest little accomplishment. When does that go public? Is that public now?
Yes, it is.
You want to make the announcement? Go ahead. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations to you.
All right, then. Yeah, you gave me you sent me this morning. Go ahead.
No, that was I think Mr. John Drury put that out for us. And what?
You want to break the news?
Well, another one, right?
I mean, we're running out of fingers at some point. 8 out of 9 years, I believe. I'll do it. The New Mexico Broadcasters Association announced their annual awards. I guess this came out, I guess this morning. The opening drive has been honored by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association for the 8th time in the last 9 years as the best sports show in the market. So congratulations to JJ Buck. I think this is really cool.
Good job.
Brandon Vogt over on KKOB. Congratulations to Brandon. He won best talk show. We got a bunch of winners around here. Mike Gable was a winner for newscaster. A lot of great stuff. But this just came out this morning. So I guess we got to change the open a little bit.
Might have to update it.
Yeah, I think it's 12 out of 16. I'm not sure, but I know it's 8 out of 9. So congratulations. That means you get another dinner.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Yeah.
This is like a pizza party.
Yeah, that's good. All right, 505-246-0610. I want to hit this Justin Fields thing, and we will when we come back, because he says he's where he wants to be. Is he in the right spot? The Steelers quarterback, and Steeler fan, and I know there's a ton of you. Who do you think will be your quarterback opening day? Russ or Fields, and who do you want? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 the Sports Hour.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them, gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description.
That he almost ran for, or accepted the nomination, or not that. What would he have accepted? He would have accepted the running mate position on the ticket for Robert F. Kennedy, because he wouldn't have accepted the nomination. Then, well, I guess that's how it works, right? You're nominated, whatever. He almost accepted RFK's overtures to be his vice president or our vice presidential candidate on the ticket. And he thought about it, and whatever. You got all that fun stuff. And then you got this other stuff going around in camps. And Justin Fields' situation, look, Pittsburgh is fascinating a quarterback situation as I think you've got in the NFL. And when I say fascinating, you got two guys who have had whatever their level of success is. Two guys, one with, I think, a lot higher ceiling, and another guy who's won a Super Bowl. Both on the cheap. So they both could be there for 1 year, or one of them could take it for the next few years. I mean, do you see a more fascinating, the way I've tried to describe fascinating quarterback situation anywhere in the NFL?
Not with such a different dynamic. Maybe Atlanta, but you see that path.
Yeah, but Atlanta's
probably 2 years of Kirk Cousins, then you get Michael Penix.
Right.
This is, what are you doing? Because you didn't pick up Justin Fields' fifth-year option, so he's on a one-year deal this season. Is he going to get on the field? Is he going to prove enough to you where do you give him a Jordan Love type of contract?
Maybe.
Where you give him,
but he's got to play for that. He's got to earn the playing time.
Well, Jordan Love didn't earn that contract before the start of last year.
Yeah, but they had nowhere else to go, right? If Russell Wilson outplays him, and they've got Russell Wilson to go to.
And then so Justin Fields is just left in the wind.
Floating to wherever is next, right? I think, the Raiders are interesting. There's a couple interesting spots, but this one's fascinating. So Justin Fields is, as you know, was traded for a 6th-round pick from the Bears to the Steelers. He's a former top pick. And Justin Fields spoke for the first time since the trade. He hadn't spoken at all. He says, we were in the same situation last year, having the number 1 pick, and it was just a little bit different this year. I'm not naive to the fact that I can read body language and stuff like that. It wasn't really just a shock to where it's like, oh, I got traded. I knew what was going to happen beforehand. So I'm just glad I got traded to a spot that I wanted to be at. That was his quote. So if you recall, at the time of the trade, the Steelers made it clear to Justin Fields. And they had, like a week and a half prior, they'd gotten Russell Wilson. They made it clear to Justin Fields that Wilson is in, pole position. He's the favorite going into the camps. But that Fields, who's 25 years old, isn't shying away from competing with the guy who's a 9-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl champ. Quote from Fields again, I'm definitely competing. I think Russ knows that we're competing against each other every day. Him being out there for me, that helps me getting better, especially each other. End quote. It might not be day one. I kind of feel it should be day one. But by mid-October, I would bet, I don't know what the odds are, that Justin Fields is going to be your starting quarterback in Pittsburgh, and I believe it'll be soon.
Yeah, if what Pittsburgh is looking for is more than Kenny Pickett, but can this version of Russell Wilson be that? When we thought Kenny Pickett was in a good situation last year, just being able to manage and maximize the talent around him, be efficient. Well, they didn't have that kind of burst offensively. The problem if you go to Justin Fields, that I think that's what you're waiting for is Fields to be that guy in the pocket. Can Fields win and then maximize his athleticism? Because everything around him, it wasn't set up great the first few years in Chicago. It wasn't until this season where they finally invested in a true wide receiver one for him, acquiring DJ Moore. And then you look at the setup for Caleb Williams, it's a complete 180. And so that's why I would be fascinated to see Justin Fields in just a more calm situation. It's an offense that has some challenges because the Steelers, they've been underwhelming the last few years. They thought they had the pieces, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. Well, they trade Johnson to Carolina. You have Pickens there. You have solid enough run game with Najee Harris.
You got 2 guys there.
And Jalen Warren. Harris, he'll plot his way to another 1,000 yards.
I don't love his receivers. I don't think he's got a great receiver.
I think that's going to be the challenge. Is you're then asking Justin Fields to do something he couldn't do in Chicago, which is elevate the people around him.
Give me a guy who has such high expectations and it just didn't work with his first team, that went somewhere else and went on and had a good career. I got Ryan Tannehill. You got somebody else?
Yeah, there's players like that. But the thing with Fields, his athleticism was so intriguing because he was also a good thrower of the football. Mm-hmm. It wasn't one where he's just like a runner and like, oh, he's got an awkward motion. He can't do this. He can't do that. Like, it was so intriguing with all of his traits. Like there's a Tannehill or, Baker Mayfield.
Well, I was going to say Baker, but Baker had some success.
He did. They won a
playoff
game.
Baker,
but he also fell off the cliff really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking Baker too, but Baker had success with the Browns. They just decided to go another way, and now he seems like he's found something in Tampa Bay. I'll go all the way back to Jim Plunkett, which started with the Patriots and ended with the Raiders and won a Super Bowl. I don't have a lot of quarterbacks who were high draft picks that it just didn't work in their initial place, and we say, well, they just need to change the scenery, and they went somewhere else and figured it out. You got Trey Lance, who the Cowboys are hoping maybe something will happen there, but he's disappeared. Ryan Tannehill was a top 10, I want to say, maybe 11 draft pick with Miami. It didn't work, and he went on and had a nice run with Tennessee. I don't have anyone else off the top of my head. Do you? Now I'm deeper than the top of my head.
There's not much in between when it comes to first round picks. You either end up being good, or your bust status that then is chasing jobs around the NFL,
like Marcus Mariota, right? Or a guy like that. I mean,
Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston.
Yeah, they're both just chasing, and they're landing on rosters. Carson Wentz, right? He's backing up in Kansas City now. Was Geno Smith a number one pick?
No,
or first round pick. He was like top of the second round, right? I'm just looking through this whole thing. I can't find, and we talk about this pattern all the time. Well, change the scenery, he'll do him good, and I'm rooting for him because I am still one of those guys who believes in the talent on Justin Fields. I think he's big enough, fast enough. I think he throws a good enough ball, and to your point, he's in a much calmer, more stable situation than he was. Now, if he was in Chicago,
is it better offensively in Pittsburgh?
No. It's better. It's better than it was last year in Chicago, but not what Chicago is now. You had DJ Moore. You had. They didn't look. They're
DJ Moore and Cole Kmet is a push when it comes to George Pickens and
Frierman. Yeah, it's right. So and I would argue you got a better running game in Pittsburgh this year with those two guys than you did necessarily in Chicago. Right? You had, I mean, you didn't have a go-to guy. You have Najee Harris, and you got two guys here. So it's a push as far as talent to me, but stability and calmness and just, I don't know, structure, organizational stability feels a hell of a lot better here. I think he's got a chance. Not a great chance because I don't think Pittsburgh's great. But if you'd have put him if they'd have armed him with what they're arming Caleb Williams with, like they're going to go, look what Caleb Williams did. Yeah, look what he's got, dude.
Yeah, because they realized the missed opportunity they had with Justin Fields. Because you have a young quarterback, then you need to overcompensate with talent around him. Now, the thing to watch for, is can a number 2 wide receiver develop?
I know.
If Roman Wilson in there as a rookie, that's going to be tough.
Give me a better top 3 receivers in the NFL than DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Romo Odunze. Give me a better trio right now in the NFL than what the Bears have. And then Cole Kmet with you as tight end. I mean, we all think Odunze is going to be terrific. DJ Moore is really good, and Keenan Allen's really good. You don't have a guy that you're telling me is top shelf. You don't have a Tyreek Hill, Jefferson, one of those guys, CeeDee Lamb. But you got 2 next shelf guys and maybe 3.
No other team has that third guy with the ceiling that Odunze has.
Right? That's as good. Caleb Williams going in, and it's really, really, really good.
Because I'm thinking of...
Who are you thinking? I mean, tell me where to go.
Like your number 3 that has the potential not just be your wide receiver 2, but a wide receiver 1 in the league. Seattle, but I think Lockett.
They got 2 really good ones, and then you like Smith and Jigba.
Smith and Jigba was a first round draft pick.
Yeah,
Rome Odunze, so he fit that mold.
Lockett, Metcalf, and Smith and Jigba. That's really good. That's a good place. I like that. It's special what they got there. I got to take this break. 505-246-0610. That's the number to get in. That's the Sports Animals phone line and our text line. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animals.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico.
In Pittsburgh, you got hoops last night. Celtics beat the Pacers, or did the Pacers just give it to the Celtics? 133-128 in overtime, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. Pacers were up big. They were up by 3 with 10 seconds to go and the ball. How do you lose that, Jeff? Now you throw the inbounds pass away, give up a 3 at the on the inbounds play, and then call timeout and get a horrible shot and go overtime and get beat. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, 505-246-0610. Ray, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Ray.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, well, thank you. Hey, some of the stuff you talked about with the Steelers kind of rang home a little bit. I'm a lifelong Steelers fan, and I don't know much more than the fanboys are willing to tell us on the fanboy sites. But it appears that Russell Wilson's doing a nice job of making a nice impression on his teammates, and of course we know Mike Tomlin can get along with just about anyone. And Wilson has the utmost respect for Coach Tomlin. So I guess the early returns are good for Russell. And, I know that Justin Fields is supremely talented. I do think that the Steelers are looking for leadership at the quarterback position. And at this point, it appears Russell can provide that.
But is he good enough, Ray? I don't know that I doubt that he could be a leader. I wonder, is he good enough to win that position and win football games?
Well, we're not going to know about that until the season happens. However, I do know that before his last year's year in Denver, which went by from a statistical standpoint, went well for him.
That's right.
And he had to eat a lot of crow after getting benched for the last two games. For the reason that he would not agree to a contract stipulation,
and you're
that
right,
was not in the current contract he was working under.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, we're at the top of the hour. I got to hit this break, but appreciate the call. Don't be a stranger, please. That was a great call. Thank you for that. Russ had to eat that, and he wouldn't waive his injury waiver and all that stuff. That's right. It's just a question is who's a better quarterback. And that's what's going to be determined. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Bring it back.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company.
Sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
How do you handle losses? We're going to find out how the Indiana Pacers handle one. About as tough a loss as it can be. Pacers lose game 1 Eastern Conference final. They lose to the Celtics 133-128 at overtime last night in Massachusetts. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Thank you for being with us, not just today, but all the hours you spend listening to the Sports Animal and the opening drive. We appreciate it. I know you got a lot of options, and there's a lot out there, and we appreciate all the time that you spend with us and all your contributions. And thank you to you. And we got the news this morning. The New Mexico Broadcasters Awards, or the New Mexico Broadcasters Association Awards, were announced, I guess, this morning. And JJ and I were honored for the, I believe, 8th time in the last 9 years. And if I'm not mistaken, 12 out of 16 as the best sports show.
Hey, you just say 12 time.
Like just 12 times?
12 times.
I'll count the numbers. I don't know exactly what the numbers. I think
someone's got to have the record somewhere.
You know, I just count all the trophies on
your pull up a Rolodex.
Yeah. But thank you for y'all for being there every day. And I've said this a zillion times. I will never ever take an award for granted. They're wonderful when you win them. When someone else wins them, you call and congratulate them. I called and congratulated or sent a text this morning to the number of winners, not only in the building but outside the building today. Never take them for granted, and appreciative of every one of them, JJ. And it's kind of cool. So congratulations to you. You get to stack another award somewhere. Where do you keep them?
I have mine right now. We have I'm just totally blanking on.
Like, do you have an award room? Like,
we have a big
mantle
display cabinet in the kitchen.
Okay.
If that makes, where you put like china in it or whatever.
So it's your award cabinet.
So I have some of the awards in there. So I have like our china and not all Tilly stuff, and then there's like my NMBA awards.
That's really cool.
Like, hey, people can see it, they can notice it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I got the NMBA awards in my office. Kind of, there's a table behind my desk that I got them stacked on, and then I got the National Sports Media Awards. For whatever reason, I keep those at home.
That one's awesome.
Well, they're really cool.
That one's awesome.
So there's 3 of those on the fireplace in the dining room. I got those on there. And other people just put them in boxes and just say whatever. But that's why it's cool to be recognized by your peers. And
yes, it is, because these are awards that are voted on by people outside of New Mexico. So they're kind of hearing all our stuff for the first time when they do these votes, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the NBA stuff, and then the NSMA stuff, the National Sports Media stuff, was your peers in New Mexico. This is cool, man. Congratulations, though, because you're a damn good broadcaster, man. You do a great job, and I'm thankful to go to work with you every day. JJ has become one of my dear friends over the years. I'm not just a partner on the radio show. We've been doing this.
It's kind of crazy how life works out. In the closet back in the day.
You were 17 years old.
And then here we are.
Yeah, that's really cool. So thank you. Yeah, thanks for being part of what we do every day. All right, so last night, Pacers have the ball. With 10 seconds to go, they're up by 3. They got to inbound it, and they win the game. Probably saw what happened. They threw the ball away. It was an inbounds play. It was chaotic. They threw the ball into Pascal Siakam. Jaylen Brown defended him. It went off of the former Aggie's hand. Celtics inbound. Siakam's guarding Brown. Brown hits a 3 out of the corner. Timeout. Tie game. They devise a play. Tyrese Halliburton falling out of bounds as he shoots a deep 3, go to overtime. Jason Tatum scores 10 in overtime, and the Celtics win game 1. So after the game, Pacers coach Rick Carlisle tried to take the blame. And it's always interesting to see how coaches do this, right? After games. We've been around here and listened to so many Lobo fans complain when a coach says, well, we drew up the play, but the player, whatever, didn't. And why are you throwing the player under the bus? No, because that's what happened. So after the game, the coach tried to take the blame, saying he should have handled the final seconds in the fourth quarter differently. And that his decision to not call a timeout cost his team a chance to win the game. Quote from Rick Carlisle after the game: "This loss is totally on me. With 10 seconds in regulations, we should have taken the timeout, advanced the ball, found a way to get it in, made a free throw or two, and ended the game. It didn't happen." That was his quote. And he's right. His star player, Tyrese Halliburton, and I thought this was pretty classy too. And this is why I'm kind of siding with you a little bit, that there's a way that this team comes back and this doesn't destroy them, losing in just excruciating fashion on the road in a game that they had won. Tyrese Halliburton didn't want to hear it. And he took the blame. He said, quote, "That's not on him. I had 2 bad turnovers that I feel like cost us the game. I understand he's protecting us, but I'll take that more than he should." End quote. "The loss is totally on me," says Rick Carlisle. No, the player says it's totally on me. It's a 24-year-old guard who's becoming a star in this league. I'm not going to lie to you, man. They're likable to me, but when I see, and we talk all the time, how do you handle yourself in adversity? You throw heating pads and towels on the floor, right, in the middle of an action, or do you stand there in front of the cameras and say, "Man, that's a stupid-ass question," or do you say, "You know what? I messed up. That's on me. Now my coach is taking the blame. That's on me." I'm just going to tell you, that impresses me.
It's very impressive, and I do think it's a fascinating dynamic in sport of you do have to learn how to do stuff. And in the NBA, the track record is learning how to win, going on a 2-3 year run, getting there, getting beat, getting a little further, and then you'll find out if your team is championship caliber, especially with what we've seen over the last 5 years, because this is going to be 6 straight years in the NBA with a different champion. So the depth in the league is there. It's really hard to win at a high level. But I also look at a team like Indiana, and this is really their first run at it, but it's the pieces they put together. Tyrese Halliburton, he's 24, he's a young guy leading a team for the first time. But then you look at, like, TJ McConnell's 32. He's been there, done that. Miles Turner is 28. Pascal Siakam won an NBA championship, is 30. So it's a different dynamic when you look at a team going on its first run, because you have the mix of young talent learning versus talent that's been in the league and won at a high level. And it's something that's really stood out about this Pacers team all season long is they know one way, and their way is 150 miles per hour, night in and night out, score the basketball. And you're looking at a Celtics team that they were top 5 defense in the NBA. But I still believe that this Pacers team can score on them constantly, because if you turn the ball over 22 times on the road in a playoff game and you are in position to win that game, I think the Pacers are going to bounce back. I think the Pacers are going to make this a longer series than anyone anticipated. And this is a moment for Boston. They could go either way. They stole a game, because that was
absolutely
everything you just laid out. What we watched last night, that's the definition of throwing the game away.
100%.
You threw an inbound,
or at least
pass
80%
out of bounds. Yeah. You threw the game away when all you had to do was inbound it, hit 1 or 2 free throws, and you probably win that game.
I think the biggest mistake they made, and to me, you can go over, should they have called a timeout? What was the play design? The pass itself was horrible. The defense on the inbounds play, and if you look back at it, it's so easy to say Siakam should have fouled him. There was nowhere to foul him. He got picked, and he was trailing on the play. By the time he got to Jaylen Brown in the corner, Jaylen Brown was in the up motion. And if he would have fouled him, it would have been 3 shots. I can't blame Siakam for not fouling him there. And then the design of the play when they called timeout and did advance the ball. Like, there's 5 things to look at. To me, the biggest thing right there is, of all of them, if you want to rank the mistakes.
How hard it is to inbound from the side.
Okay, that's right.
Going back to that first thing.
To me, the biggest mistake was not then when you couldn't get in, burning your timeout right there, advancing the ball. Because even if you turn it over, then you advance it in the back court, it's tougher. But advancing the ball and draw. Yes.
Because they were on the sideline already. So I wonder, like.
Okay, even if you can, fine. Let's say you couldn't. Drop a freaking play. Because if you look at it, there were 2 guys, and
that's the classic.
Siakam was the third. There were 2 guys against 3 defenders.
That ball can't be going back towards 100%. The other basket.
You can't throw it towards.
Like if you end up turning it over, throw it into the front court. Yeah. Maybe you have the scramble there, and then you can set up your defense type of deal instead of.
And then you can foul.
Yeah,
and then you can foul because you're up by 3. Of all of those 5 things, I got to believe the one thing that they're just killing themselves over not doing is calling the timeout when they could not get the ball, instead of panicking and throwing it away. And that's the one that's going to kill you, because you call a timeout, you draw it up, and you say, all right, and if for whatever reason you can't get in, throw it to this guy in the backcourt, and then if you throw it away, foul him. Foul him. So they can't shoot it. That's the one of all of them. If you're a Pacer fan, I don't know one. I think I know one. I do know one. But if you're a Pacer fan, I mean, you had to puke last night. You had to puke. This is one of those where, when you ask fans of teams, what's one of the most excruciating losses ever? And, Seattle Seahawks fan says the Super Bowl, and everybody's got, the A's fan, Kirk Gibson, and all these things.
Well, you look at just all the factors involved. So Boston, they missed multiple shots, and Indiana gets the rebound,
right?
But they're not in the bonus yet,
right?
And so,
if they were, Indiana would have been shooting free throws. It would have extended the lead.
It's almost one. So it worked out for the Celtics that they were not.
Yeah.
That the Pacers were not in the bonus because they fouled in the backcourt, and that's why they were inbounding on the sideline.
Yep.
Because of the foul in the backcourt.
Yeah.
No, as opposed to sitting in the free throw line. So it's all those little things that ultimately worked out in your favor. And to get that wild finish, which you go to overtime, and then you still have to step up in overtime.
Yeah.
And Boston took control of the game in overtime, where Indiana, where you could look at, going back to kind of not handling the moment is, so you turn it over twice in the final 30 seconds. You turn it over 3 times in overtime. And so in the last 5.5 minutes on the floor, the Pacers had 2 made field goals and 5 turnovers.
That's how you lose. I mean, literally, that's how you lose. All right, 505-246-0610 when we get back. The Charlotte Hornets star. Guy, well, you're familiar with his dad more than him. But he's being sued now by a fan who says, or a mother, who says this star ran over her son's foot with his vehicle and broke his foot, and he was just trying to get an autograph. I got both sides of this one, man. And I'm not sure where I land. I'm not sure you are either. It's Opening Drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The Jim Rome Show.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hey, look, it's Dwight Goodman. Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Life can show that you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
So you read the headline, you're going, wow, what a jerk. But I read further through this thing and I'm like, man, I don't know. Headlines always lure you, right? Clickbait. Headline reads, Mother sues LaMelo Ball and the Hornets. Alleges the NBA star drove over her son's foot at a team event in 2020. Damn, dude, what a jerk. He drove over an 11-year-old kid's foot. And then I start reading it. And I start thinking, well, it's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. So JJ, the story is an 11-year-old mother named Tamaria McRae said her 11-year-old son, who's now 12, was a big LaMelo Ball fan. And they were at an event. It was the Hornets Purple and Teal Day back on October 7th. So there were a bunch of fans gathered outside, and they tried to catch players as they were leaving. You've seen it, right? It happens all the time. And her 11-year-old son, now 12, Angel, is a huge fan of ball. So the boy saw LaMelo driving, and he was in his car, tried to approach him and get an autograph. According to the mom, Angel was like, LaMelo, I love you. Sign my, give me your autograph. Can you sign it for me? And evidently, LaMelo didn't sign anything. He drove off. And the mother says she saw her son looking down, thought he dropped something, but he was injured. She claims that he drove over the boy's foot, broke the foot, took months to recover. He was heartbroken. All right. I don't know, man. Why? If you get that close to a vehicle,
I have a problem with people rushing vehicles. Like when athletes or people are trying to leave.
Yeah.
Like you're setting yourself up for something bad to happen. I think that is, I put that a lot on the parent. Like the event is over.
Thank you.
It's one thing if you're kind of lined up and there's gates and you're trying to get someone's attention as they walk out or they leave. But rushing a vehicle is always a bad look, and then you're supposed to be mad at the celebrity or athlete that's trying to leave. Like the scheduled event is over, they're in their car, and you run up on it. Like I think that's bad parenting, man. Throwing your kid out there like, oh, it's a little kid, you have to give him an autograph. Throw him inside a motor vehicle.
I wonder if LaMelo even knew that he ran over a foot, if he in fact did, and it seems like he did. You ever try to get through traffic? It's one thing. Like how I put this on the Hornets and the Hornets are being named in this lawsuit because the family claims and the lawyer claims that they should have had better control, traffic control, barriers. And I'm listening to that. Okay, I'm listening to that. But you're in a vehicle trying to get out of an event, and there's people everywhere. Like, how are you supposed to now? Are you supposed to stop and for everybody? How do you sign one kid's thing? I'm struggling blaming LaMelo Ball for
this. You don't want to then roll your window down.
No, you're done.
Signing autographs,
or people reaching into your
people
car.
People start reaching into your car. Like, this is one where I'm. Like,
so you're with me on this.
Yeah,
one,
I'm
right?
sorry your kid got ran over, but maybe don't let your kid run up to a vehicle just because there's an athlete inside.
100%. Don't let your kid run up to get so close to a moving vehicle that it could run over his damn foot.
Like, and there's times like the event is over, these athletes are trying to leave. I don't have an expectation that they're going to stop their vehicle to sign autographs.
Yeah. I thank you. Okay, because I read this story and I heard it yesterday, and LaMelo Ball is being accused of and being a jerk, basically. I mean, I'm translating.
Yeah, and they're saying it's a grossly negligent and reckless manner. That's allowing your 11-year-old to walk up to a vehicle on a road that if a light turns green, the car is going to move.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was just pulling out of a garage, wherever it is. He obviously was not on a sidewalk, right?
If it says when the light turns green, car moves.
Is that what it says? I didn't see a light turn green.
It says Ball stopped at a nearby traffic light.
Okay.
And fans, including Joseph,
so then they're in the
vehicle.
Street.
That's the problem.
All right. Now, I didn't even read that part.
If I'm
see
LaMelo,
yeah,
if I heard about this, I'd be like, well, I'm not paying you money in a lawsuit, but I'll send your son
here.
Like, sorry.
Here's some swag, and I'll pay. Here's a couple grand to pay his doctor bills. Like, I'll even give you that. That'll make me. You know what? I feel bad for the kid. Here's some swag with my autograph on it, and here's a couple grand.
I know LaMelo's like, I didn't want to run over a kid, but the light turned green, and I'm leaving.
I'm gonna guess he didn't know that he ran over a kid's foot. All right, I now that I'm seeing this part of it, I thought it was like just coming out of the parking garage or something. Okay, so they approached his vehicle and stood next to it when the light turned green. So he's at an intersection. So they are in the damn street. Light turned green, and he drove up in a, quote, grossly negligent and reckless manner in that he accelerated his vehicle forward suddenly and without warning and struck her son, severely injuring him. Okay, light turns green, I'm going forward. Without warning, the damn light turned green.
And he's probably a little uneasy if people are swarming his vehicle.
There's a bunch of people around my car.
Leaving.
How do you feel when there's a bunch of people around your car?
Dude, what is grossly negligent is letting your kid run up to a vehicle at an intersection.
I don't know if he sped off or not, like hit it, like took off. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know that I blame him if he did. Well, there's people everywhere.
I put my kid in a parking lot. Like, are you paying attention?
It's not a damn parking lot. It's an intersection.
Like, and then to think it's okay just because there's an athlete in a vehicle, you should let your kid run up to a vehicle.
They're seeking damages in excess of 25 grand. I mean, 25 grand to LaMelo. What's he make? 33 million a year. He'll make this go away for 25 or 50 grand. But he doesn't deserve this. From what I'm reading, I don't know if he's a good dude or a bad dude. I have no idea.
Read this and you're like, oh, what a jerk.
Right.
Oh, Ball. The Ball family.
Right.
Bunch of jerk.
But then you're like saying, what would I do? I'm sitting in my car and I'm swarmed. I'm just trying to get the hell out of here. I don't know who you are, he is, she is, they are. I don't want anybody reaching in my damn car. I mean, there's kooks everywhere, man. Some guy pulls me out. I don't want to play. I don't want to play. This is an uncontrolled situation. I'm inviting a problem. Oh, come on, man. It's just an 11-year-old kid. Really? It's just that 11-year-old kid. But who are all these other kooks?
And fans.
Right. Who are all the rest of these people? No, man, you don't get to come into my car. You don't get to come into my space. If I'm LaMelo Ball or if I'm JJ Buck. You don't get to do that. This isn't on player, man. This is a bad look for the Tamaria McRae. I get it. She probably wants somebody to pay her bills, and I get it. This is on you, ma'am, for letting your kid go out there and be in a position in the middle of the street to get his foot run over by a vehicle. What are we doing? To what? To get something signed? I can't put this on the player, man. I can't. I'm sorry. This one's not on him. he's going to get the bad rap and he's going to get all the crap from it. But I can't put this one. Maybe you can. If you want to talk me out of it, I'm listening. 505-246-00. All right, the Dolphins really want to play in cold weather. Is that what this headline says right here? Is that what you wrote on my sheet? Did you see the Dolphins play in cold weather? But they want to play in cold weather. It's next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Telling it like it is.
New York, we would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Did you see the Miami Dolphins wilt in the cold in Kansas City last year? Yeah, right? Now Miami wants the cold. Look, this year the Dolphins finished with 4 of their last 6 games outside of South Florida, including games in Green Bay. Houston won't be bad. That's indoors. Cleveland and against the Jets. So they're probably getting 3 chilly games. JJ, they look now. Look, I give you the game in Kansas City was historically cold. Like, was it 26 below or something? Just bonkers. Okay. Their head coach Mike McDaniel was asked on Tuesday about the road games to end the year, including Thanksgiving night. They'll be at Lambeau Field. Quote, I think, well, if you're wanting to compare a narrative, you're going to have an opportunity. I don't really worry too much about things, pretending like I have an idea of what's good or bad. I know if you're playing the right competitive football, you'll always have unique challenges to your schedule. If you're playing the right type of football, you'll have primetime games. You can have short or long weeks, all those things. End quote. Okay. Last 2 seasons, they were one and done. Road loss, one in Buffalo, one in Kansas City. So what he's saying is, bring it on, is what I'm hearing.
You have to have that mindset. This is a Miami team that you have the challenge of, hey, we're good with Tua, but can we be good enough if he gets paid? The fact that they haven't had success against Buffalo, they've had big-time losses against Buffalo. Remember last year, early in the season, when Buffalo kind of got off to a slow start, and then they beat the Dolphins 48-20.
That was that must-win for Buffalo because that was been pissing.
And it wasn't cold. It was October 1st.
Yeah.
It's chilly.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's vacation weather in Buffalo. And then you have the final game of the season in Miami. Buffalo beats them 21-14. And the week before,
in Miami, it wasn't
in
cold.
Miami.
Yeah.
And then the week before, I totally forgot about this game. It happens. They lost 56-19 in Baltimore in week 17 of the NFL season. Chasing down a playoff spot. They knew the division was on the line with Buffalo.
56-19?
But I was like, wait.
That was a team that put 70 on the Broncos, right?
Yes, they did. That happened. They scored 70 and then gave up 48 the next week.
56-19.
And these are some of the hesitations you end up having with Tua. You're like, okay, he's good. They create explosive plays in that offense because what Mike McDaniel wants is accuracy to put the ball in the hands of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and get explosive plays. But you haven't answered the question of can you beat Josh Allen?
No.
And now you have a new challenge with Aaron Rodgers this season that you have to overcome in the division. Oh, and playing road football games in the NFL late in the season means you might be in some cold places.
Well, I love the fact that he's embracing it because he can't run from it. And I think it was right answer, to be honest with you. I listened to it, and I got a guy.
You have to say, hey, if we want this to change, we have to change it.
Well, 95 out of 100 people would say, hey, you got a game on December 30th or January 4th. You want to play in Miami or you want to play in Buffalo?
And it's not just, you're right about that. It's not just where they're playing. Look at that stretch from Thanksgiving to the end of the season. So it's at Green Bay, division game against the Jets, which is going to be tough. They're at Houston. They play the 49ers at Cleveland and then at the Jets again.
That is a hell of a... Well, holy smokes.
Not just outside, man. That is...
Well, but
if you're playing for a playoff spot, goodness.
Well, the back end of their schedule. At Bills, at Rams. They get a home game versus the Raiders. And then they get a home game versus the Patriots. And then, to your point, at Packers, Jets. At Texans, Niners. At Browns, at Jets. Damn, dude. They may not make the play. I mean, maybe the Jets are in instead of them.
Those are going to be deciding games. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what the NFL is very good at that. Making sure you have enough of those division games late in the season. And those division races, the wild card race.
But it was the right answer because every one of us would say, and I don't care if you live in Buffalo or Cleveland or Toronto or wherever, you want to play a game in Miami or you want to play a game up there? The answer is easy, right? We all want to play where it's warm, where we play football. Oh, it's football weather, Jeff. No, it's not, man. Nobody likes playing in 5 below, 20 below. No, nobody. Even the people in Green Bay don't like it. They'd rather play football in 60 degrees, 70 degrees. But it was the right answer. Embrace it. He says, if you're playing it the right way, you're going to have these opportunities. They're going to put you in these situations because people want to see it on prime time, and it gets cold, and that's what people want to see. I got no problem with the
second place schedule because you finished hidden. So you're going to see some other good teams on your schedule. And this is also one where Miami, I'm looking at the season ahead. The challenge is competing with Josh Allen, competing with Aaron Rodgers this season. The schedule to end the year, I'm waiting on Tua. He might not be happy, but I'm not giving him a contract extension right
Biggest prove it year for a quarterback in the league this year. Is it Tua?
Yeah, because I think Tua, if he has a similar season where they're explosive.
But
They're
yet
good.
lose.
They come up short. I think you're in franchise tag territory then, and not here's $150 million over the next 3 years.
Absolutely. I think I know you don't think we're in the same place on Kyler Murray because he's got the guarantee. But I think it's a big year for Kyler Murray. I think it's a gigantic year for Daniel Jones. It's a career breaker year for Daniel Jones. Tua, I think, I don't know if I think it's a career make or break year for Tua and Dak, but it's a franchise make or break year for Tua and Dak, right? To decide, are they going to be the long-term guys in those places? Obviously huge for Russ and Justin Fields and Pittsburgh. Both those guys, huge year for them, right? I think it's a pretty big year for Will Levis, although I might give him another year. I gave you Kyler. What about Derek Carr? I mean, at some point, he's going to have to win something, isn't he?
Yeah, that's one of those situations where it's the challenge of, hey, it's good, it's not great. Do we go young just to go young right now type of deal? Reset in the draft.
I think it's a huge...
And those are those, I guess, hold the line quarterbacks in the NFL that we always talk about. Like, is Derek Carr a championship quarterback now? No, but if you're New Orleans and you're looking at it and you're in that front office, kind of where you were with the draft capital, knowing how this draft was going to play out, did you think you're going to be able to get into the top 12? So these are all things to consider versus, hey, we have a veteran quarterback that we trust to win games.
What do you do if you're the Giants? If you go 9-8, make the playoffs, and win a playoff, what do you do with that? What Daniel Jones now?
Well, then and this is a tough spot to be in because I'm one that I don't think tanking gets you anything in the NFL.
Right.
Because I don't think you have to have a terrible record to end up still getting a good quarterback. And it's making these tough decisions. And I could see a team like New Orleans cutting bait after this season and moving forward, moving off a Derek Carr. I could see the same thing happen for the New York Giants because you can't get stuck in that cycle where all right, this is a challenge to my argument.
Yeah.
Where I say I think at times like the quarterback discussion is broken to where you want to throw away good, but I also think there's a shelf life to that.
So
and with the Giants, I think you're looking at, I think you've hit the ceiling with Daniel Jones.
I was just going to say, what's the scenario that Daniel Jones is the Giants quarterback next year in 2025? What's the scenario
would it be what happened to get him an extension where they won a road playoff game and then you come back?
He's healthy. He plays every game. He's top 7 in yardage, touchdowns. He doesn't turn the damn ball over. The team is good offensively, and they win a playoff game. Because look,
he reminds me. We were having the discussion of the first round quarterbacks. Now that didn't work out somewhere, but then went somewhere else and were pretty good.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is Ryan Tannehill to me.
Okay.
Is that guy, like, he can be pretty good. He can win some games, but he might be one of those players that always leaves you wanting more.
All right. Is he in a position, because I look at them offensively and I'm like, oh, all right, they might be in trouble. They drafted Malik Neighbors at number 8 or 9, wherever they were, right? 6. Okay. So they went out and got a guy they think is going to be their number 1 receiver. Darius Slayton and Wendell Robinson have done nothing in the NFL. And Darren Waller hasn't done anything since he's come over. And they lost Saquon Barkley. What do they have offensively around Daniel Jones?
They already tipped their hand that they have Daniel Jones and he was kind of their guy right now.
Yeah.
Because they obviously were not on board with Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy,
or they would have drafted him.
Because they were right there.
Right.
That's not make a move. No, those three guys were right there if you want.
Understand.
So to them, they're telling you that they didn't value this draft class that highly. They trust enough in Daniel Jones to be the guy, but where they're tipping their hand is the money they gave Drew Lock and the incentives they put in his contract. We're like, we think you might actually play because we don't trust Daniel Jones to stay healthy the whole season. I think they're going to be ready to move on regardless.
Yeah, and this
like,
feels
even if they win, get to the playoffs, I think they're a team that's going to be looking regardless.
This feels like the Bears to me last year, where quarterbacks set up to fail. And they'll say, all right, we're going to move on, and next year we'll get a new guy in here and we'll stock up. Yeah, they went out and got that receiver, and I think Malik Neighbors is going to be good, but is he enough to make them good offensively? They have no weapons outside of them. Devin Singletary is their number one back. Their number two guy is Eric Gray. You have no idea who he is, nor do you know who Tyrone Tracy or Gary Brightwell. You don't. And Devin Singletary was an okay back when he was in Buffalo. Eric Gray is a fifth-round rookie out of Oklahoma. All right. And Tyrone Tracy is a fifth-round – I'm sorry, Gray is a second-year guy, and Tracy is a fifth-round rookie out of Purdue. That's your back. That's your weapons. And Daniel Jones just got to be going, damn, at least I got my $40 million guarantee.
Yeah, I think what you're looking at Daniel Jones is, can he still have some of that pop coming off the knee injury? Because he's he's sneaky athletic.
Yeah, he is.
He can move a little bit. And I think if you're Brian Daboll, you want to work that into the offense, the play action game, the bootleg game with Daniel Jones. Because Slayton and Robinson, like, those are average number 2, number 3 receivers. If Neighbors can be a legit number 1 guy right away. And there was talk about him actually being on the heels of Marvin Harrison Jr. as the best wide receiver in this draft.
Yeah.
So
I'm giving you that.
And then it's a team that I think is going to really lean into that defense. They brought over Brian Burns, some of the draft capital they invested over the last few years there. I think they play with the Cowboys, and
I don't see how they do it offensively.
But,
I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't see what they have. All right, we'll wrap it up when we get back. Everything you have to know and what people are going to be talking about as you go through your Wednesday. Thanks for being with us. You can still get in at 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often alcohol is involved.
Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol.
Who they beat to get to this point. Last time it was two MLS teams, and this was a team in a lower division than they are. But still, it's a big deal, and I think the best thing that ever happened to the club was that 2019 U.S. Open Cup run, and now they got an opportunity to do that even better.
The headline would have been if they lost last night to this team.
That's right.
Even with the FC2 squad that's beat some USL Championship teams, United was the better team in the better form, even on the road. Embrace the moment because this is fantastic marketing. You're dead on with what the U.S. Open Cup meant to this team in 2019 in their inaugural season to help establish credibility for them as a franchise. And all you can do if you're these teams for the USL Championship is embrace it, enjoy the moment. And the MLS wants to look down on the tournament, pull their teams out, so be it. Do the best you can because it resonates through the fan bases.
They play who's in front of them. It's all you can do. You don't get to make the schedule. All right, emails came in. James said, freshman hit the wall, Jeff. We saw how tired and beat up Lobo women were down the stretch. Caitlin Clark's season was a month longer and now straight into the WNBA. Is she just going to collapse at some point? She'll be in every commercial, but not on the court. It's interesting how their calendar works. It's just really interesting how their calendar works. And yeah, you are playing basically 2 seasons back to back with 3 weeks off. If you could make a deep run into the NCAA tournament as Iowa and Caitlin Clark did. The WNBA season is a summer league. You get drafted in the NBA, you get drafted. When is the NBA draft? Next month?
Into June.
Okay. And you don't play, you get a regular off season. Baseball. Now, baseball's interesting. The amateur draft, they go right into it. They play a college baseball season. They go right into it. But most sports, they run concurrent, college or wherever it is you're coming from, to the pros. The WNBA does not. Is there something to it? I imagine there is. I'd love to see the research on rookies and fatigue in the WNBA as they're coming out of their full season. Is there more of a fatigue variance for players who go deep into the NCAA tournament than those who don't? I'm going to guess the best ones who make the impact in the WNBA made a deep run in the NCAA tournament. And what's the change from year 1 to year 2? I think there's something to that. Yeah, James, that one I'll give you. Normally, I don't believe your tired stuff. The stuff, why are they practicing in August when the season runs through March? I don't give you that. But I'll give you this one. Yeah, I think there's something to it. We had a conversation earlier about the Dallas Cowboys hadn't been to a conference final in 29 years, but the 3 other major pro teams in the Metroplex, the Rangers, the Stars, and the Mavericks, have all been within the last 200 days, basically. Has Jerry dealing with that? Omar says, NFL's most outstanding organization. Jeff, I can guarantee you nobody has had more sleepless nights than Coach Jones trying to figure out how to get Dallas Cowboys in that winner's circle again. I think that's probably right, too. I think there's something to that, too, but he hasn't figured it out. And meanwhile, everybody else in that market has had success. JJ, this just came down this morning, and I'm going to be interested to see where this goes. There's a headline that says, a former team doctor at Penn State is alleging that the head football coach, James Franklin, attempted to interfere with medical decisions. There's a doctor that claims that Franklin and their AD pushed to medically disqualify a player who attempted suicide. So this doctor says that Franklin attempted to interfere with medical decisions involving a player on the team. This Philadelphia Inquirer is reporting this. This guy's name is Pete Seidenberg. He's the doctor, the primary care doctor for Penn State's football team in 2014. We're going back 10 years. Claimed during a civil trial against Franklin and against the school that the doctor was pushed by Franklin and then athletic director Sandy Barber to medically disqualify our player who attempted suicide in order to free up a scholarship. That player, who's unidentified, was in short-term psychiatric care. The doctor says, quote, I perceive this as his attempt to influence medical decisions. The doctor added that he declined to give into the pressure from the coach and the AD. He included other instances in which he thought Franklin overstepped in trying to get his way on medical decisions that involved both him and another doctor. The lawsuit was filed by Lynch, the player, for his unwillingness to go along with Franklin's desires. This is interesting. So basically, the guy is dealing with mental illness. Get rid of him. I want the scholarship. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's a problem with everything that even in this transfer portal NIL world that you expect, you hope from coaches is to be there for your players, and it doesn't sound like he wanted to be there in that moment.
Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Coward is after that. 2 for 2 today. Went 0 for 2 when Bobcat was good. 2 men on, sitting in 4, and then you get Isotopes in Salt Lake. We're back with award-winning radio. I can say that again, right, Jay?
Yes, you can.
We just won an award today? Back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. Adrian, great work. Big day for you.
Huge day.
All right, well, then enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. Smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Cross-Camara here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them, gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.